welcome to What's Cooking New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Hearts Beat Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Well, oftentimes we struggle to find a good breakfast meal, and yet we have Sam and Jim Glaubitz here today to show us what they have. So tell us a little bit about your recipe and how we're going to make this great brunch that you have for us today.
It's yummy.
It's yummy. All right.
Well, it's one that we haven't quite often in the Glaubitz household during breakfast time, and the kids really enjoy it.
Now, Sam, is this something that you like to eat?
Yes.
All right. And what's going to be your job in helping here?
I'm going to beat the eggs.
All right. So, Jim, we're going to start with some onion. What other things do we like to put in here?
I like mushrooms and broccoli.
I don't.
What do you like in yours, Sam?
I like no tomatoes, no onions, and no mushrooms, and no broccoli.
All right. So you just like egg and bread?
Yes.
Okay.
And cheese.
And a little cheese. All right. So what vegetables would you like in there?
Carrots.
Carrots. We could put carrots in there. What else? What other vegetables do you eat?
Just carrots.
Just carrots. Okay. Well, that would be good too. Do you like a little bit of ham, turkey in there? We could add a little bit of that in there too. That would make it a nice little frittata. That would be okay. Do you eat frittata? All right. That's good. That sounds pretty good. All right, Jim. So tell us what we're all going to do to make this this brunch.
Well, normally I start off by cutting everything up, getting that ready, and then after I have the vegetables all cut up, then we go to the bread.
Okay.
And we usually use between 8 and 12 slices. 8 works pretty good. And we just do them in small chunks and just put them in the pan.
Okay.
I already pre-coated the pan with Pam, so that's already ready to go. And you just little chunks, about an inch or so. And you do it about an inch, inch and a half throughout the whole pan.
Okay. So this is a good job for you, huh, Sam? Is this your part?
Yes, Sam likes to help.
All right. Now we know you have 3 boys in the Glaubitz house, and including you and Holly.
Yep.
So how many is this going to serve, and is this going to fill up your whole family?
Usually about 12 people it can serve. With dealing with the boys, it usually we'll eat most of it, so we might have 1 or 2 pieces left over maybe for the next day for breakfast. But
okay. Now you're going to find in this recipe we're using a dozen eggs, but we're only going to be using 6 of the egg yolks. Remember, when you disperse that over 12 servings, this is not a lot of cholesterol, and this is a fine way to use our eggs. We do need to leave some of the egg yolks in this recipe. It's going to help the recipe stand up and maintain its consistency. So you can start to eliminate some of the egg yolks. We'll take plenty of protein from those egg whites, and it's going to have great taste and color, but we're going to lower the cholesterol by pulling out some of those yolks. So what do you think, Sam? Well, should we give it a start?
Yeah.
All right, show me what we're going to do.
We're going to crack them open on the bowl.
All right.
And put your thumbs in on the crack. And then carefully open it.
Perfect.
Make sure you have no shucks in there.
All right, and what happens if we get some shucks in there?
You have to pick them out.
Yeah, we don't want to chew on those, do we?
No.
All right. So we're going to count those out, and that, like I said, is going to be a full dozen of eggs. All right, that's okay. You got it. There, perfect. Good job. There's number 2. When we get through the first 6, then we're going to start pulling those egg yolks out, huh? And that gets a little bit trickier. If you would like to use some kind of an egg beater or an egg substitute, that does work well as well. A 1/4 cup of our egg beaters is actually equal to 1 egg. So if you're using that recipe, you can do it that way as well. You're doing good here, bud. When making the batter as well, we're going to be using a little bit of skim milk in there. We do want to make sure we choose that skim milk to keep down our overall cholesterol level. All right, Jim, what else are you working on?
well, I just finished up the onions.
Okay.
And put about a 1/4 cup. And you just sprinkle that over your bread. Kind of get it evenly distributed throughout the pan. And then from there we can move on to the tomatoes. I like tomatoes in mine. I'm a big fan of tomatoes.
All right. So Sam, we're going to be very careful. We're going to open that up. We're going to drain out those whites, right?
Yeah.
We're going to hold on to that yolk as long as we can, huh? Shake that out. How are we doing? Good. All right. You all right? Those onions getting to your eyes, huh? Now you can add a lot of different ingredients to this as well. You can add things like peppers. You could add anything else. What else would you guys add into this if you didn't have the boys saying they don't like different vegetables? Want to help, Sam? No, you gotta let those eyes dry out. Okay. Peppers are going to add a different flavor. Remember that when you're choosing your peppers, your yellow peppers are going to be your sweet peppers. Green are going to be a little bit stronger, and red as well. So if you don't like that spice, try your yellow pepper and you're going to find it a little bit more enjoyable. All right, well, while we finish up these eggs and the dicing, why don't we go ahead and check in with Holly and see what's new for Fit in 5.
All right, welcome to Fit in 5. Well, we kind of confiscated Becca's kitchen today for this segment, and we're going to do something a little bit different. I have with me today Sherry Meyer. She's an occupational health therapist at the Sister Kenny Rehab Institute here at the Newell Medical Center. So Sherry, thanks for being here today and helping us out.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about occupational therapy. What is that specifically?
Well, occupational therapy is defined by helping individuals regain their functional ability to do the things that they wanted to do. If they've been limited with an injury or a diagnosis, we work on maximizing their independency level.
So what age groups would you work with occupational therapy? Do you see, is it mainly older folks, younger folks? Who exactly do you work with? What's your population?
Our population is working with children from birth to older adults. And so therefore we have to specialize in the type of treatments that we do. So we do the whole lifespan of individuals.
Interesting. Now, what kind of therapies do you offer here at Sister Kenny Rehab?
Yep. Well, being in a rural setting, we have to be very knowledgeable with what we need to do because services aren't as specialized as what they would be in the metro areas. So the areas that we look at here is outpatients and inpatients, home care patients. We also provide services to the Fairfax and the Winthrop Nursing Home and the Ridgeway Assisted Living Facilities.
Okay, so we're in the kitchen today. What would be some tips or advice you would give to somebody or somebody you were working with maybe having some issues working in the kitchen? They don't want to stop doing what they're doing if they like to cook and prepare food. What would be some things that they could do to be kind of pain-free and help them along the way?
Right. Well, first of all, I would talk about a kitchen setup, making sure the kitchen is set up safely for them in order for them to prepare their meals and to clean up afterwards. And so some ideas would be to arrange cupboards, having things on the bottom of the shelf versus reaching up on top. And then also having things, if things are going to be on the bottom cupboards, to have them up higher to prevent bending over too far.
Okay.
And some additional ideas that we would encourage patients to work on as far as safety techniques and ergonomic setup would be if you were to have a pan that's on the stove or the oven, instead of lifting it up and carrying it over, if the countertop or space is available, to go ahead and just slide it along the surface area. Some other areas would be to have a high stool in your kitchen. So if you're fatigued during standing, that would give you a time to just sit and rest while still continuing to complete your meal preparation.
Okay. Does counter height have anything to do? I mean, most people aren't going to, go ahead and lower or raise their counters.
Right.
So things like, I'm assuming, sliding the dishes across are going to be helpful with not having to lift and reach a ton. I mean, this is great for me, but I'm a little bit taller than the average bear too. So.
Right. So that's a really great question to ask, and sometimes that can be hard to modify. So sometimes if individuals are a little bit shorter, we'll have someone make probably some sort of wooden step that's along their countertop where they'd be able to stand up and slide along. And of course, if someone is too tall and the countertop is too low, that's almost harder to adjust because it's like going backwards on that. Yeah. But that's a great question.
And you talked a little bit talk a little bit about you don't necessarily need to bring the dishes from the prepared dishes to the table. They can actually have people come and serve themselves.
Yeah, just that's energy conservation technique. And then after the meal's been served, putting the leftover container or leftover food in smaller containers. So then their individual servings. So then they just have to pull that small container out, put it into the microwave, warm it up, and eat it.
Yeah, very interesting. These are some things I don't think we really think about when we're cooking and preparing food.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, so do you have anything else to add?
Yep, there's one more thing that I'd like to add with just washing dishes. Again, the same concept is gathering all your dishes together and taking them to the sink at one time, either using a cart or sliding them across the counter. And then once you have all of the dishes at the sink area, then that would be a great time to go ahead and do the dishes. And some body positioning that you can try when you're washing dishes is if you have a cupboard door beneath your sink, go ahead and open it up and step your foot on the back just to help relieve any back pain if there is any. And if you're tall enough or if the height is appropriate, to rest your forearms at the sink just to conserve energy while you're washing dishes.
So what if somebody has a dishwasher? What would you recommend? Because you're usually taking the dishes out and bending and putting them
back in. Yep, same concept. Bringing all the dishes to the dishwasher, loading the dishwasher, and then letting the machine wash the dishes. And then again, taking the dishes out. If you are constantly going back and forth from the dishwasher to the other end of the kitchen, put all those dishes together and make one trip, either again sliding it along the countertop or using a cart going to the other end of the kitchen and back.
Very good. Well, very good stuff, Sherry.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming in today and
Thank you.
sharing with us. For today's Fit in 5, I'm Holly. This is Sherry. Have a healthy day.
All right, Holly, those are some great tips, and thanks for giving me back my kitchen. All right, Jim, let's see where we're at.
Well, I've started dicing up the mushrooms. Another one of my personal favorite. Kids don't care for it much, but I really enjoy it. Sometimes I have to make it with just putting the mushrooms on my side of the egg bake.
That means more for you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mushrooms are a great addition to any meal. They're going to be high in nutrients. They're very low in calories. So anywhere you can incorporate them, those are a good idea. That looks great. Now we like to have a little broccoli in there. You actually could add things like cauliflower or any other of your hearty vegetables as well. When we purchase these ingredients, you're going to find that these are pretty much mainstays that you're finding in your refrigerator. So something that could be put together on any given day. Now, about what did you say is start to finish time on this, Jim? About 20 to 25 minutes, you think?
Yeah, about 20, 25 minutes. I like it because it's quick and easy, and sometimes when you're in a hurry and you're busy with your kids and stuff like that, you need something quick to put in and something healthy. And this I found works pretty good for our family. So
good. Now, Sam, have you been keeping busy through the heart of your new Ulm? Does your mom keep you active?
No.
Your pretty guys are doing pretty good? And you play baseball and stay active in the summer?
She hasn't got me signed up yet.
Okay, we're working on that one, huh? All right, I know you're a good baseball, basketball. What else do you like to play?
Football.
Football. All right, so you're a 3-season sport. That's great. And how about, I saw you in the cafeteria. You like to eat your fruits and vegetables at school. I see they're starting to offer those for our students as well.
No.
No? Got to keep working on that one too. Our schools are working harder to make sure our kids are getting healthy fruits and vegetable servings. Make sure you let them know that you appreciate this effort to make our kids even healthier. All right, so Jim, I see you're using the bottom of the stems. Is that what you normally prefer?
yeah, I use a little bit of both. I like the bottom of the stems kind of sprinkled in it, and I use the top of the stem kind of as a garnish kind of on the top to kind of give it a little color to it. So.
All right. You know, that's a great tip. A lot of us like to throw the stems away. It is where most of our nutrients are found, so make sure you do try to incorporate those in. They're nice and crispy. They make a great snack. So if you're not big on the top sprouts, do try the bottom stems. You're going to find that those have great taste and a lot of nutrition to those as well. How's it looking, Sam?
Good.
Good. And getting hungry?
No.
Not yet? Once it gets in the oven, I bet it will start smelling good, huh? All right. Now we are going to bake this for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until our eggs stand up. Once that is done, it's ready to serve. You'll notice that we use some whole grain bread. Anytime you're purchasing your bread, make sure the bag says 100% whole wheat. Anything else just doesn't cut it. We're looking for those higher fiber and whole wheat grains to meet that requirement for our Mediterranean diet. This is also going to provide us 1 to 2 vegetable servings depending on how much we eat. So that's a big step forward in our goal for 7 to 9 vegetables and fruits per day following the Mediterranean diet. Okay, Jim, what's our last step?
Well, the last step is to kind of combine all the ingredients. You can mix that a little bit, Sammy, like you normally do. And I usually start off with about a half a cup of milk. and about a quarter cup of water. And once he gets that totally mixed up, then we put it all together.
All right. You're going to see that the yolks are going to help maintain that nice yellow color. It's going to keep us full and add that protein. And by cutting out those 6 yolks, remember we did cut down our cholesterol in half on this recipe. That's something that you can do with most of the recipes you're preparing. So that's a good idea to do. Looks
Okay,
good, Sam.
Looks pretty good. And just add the milk. Stir
right.
that just a little bit before you put the water in, just to get it good and worked in there. Then you add the water. It's kind of the final touch. Kind of helps it rise a little bit with the combination water milk.
Okay.
Okay, that looks awesome.
So now it's heading to the pan.
Just pour it in.
You're going to see that bread's going to absorb those eggs quite quickly. So it's not going to be a liquidy or a runny dish at all. It's going to absorb in there quick, and it has some great color. Another thing you could add in here would be some red or purple onions, and again, that's going to add more flavor, and it's going to add a little bit more color to your dish as well. All right, so once you sprinkle the cheese on the top, we're going to put that into the oven, and we're going to bake that for 15 to 20 minutes. So while your kids are getting dressed in the morning and ready for school, you could have this whipped up pretty fast, or if you like a quiet Sunday at home, it's also a nice recipe to use. After just 15 to 20 minutes, we'll be ready to pull that back out. And Jim's already got our final product in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I already had one pre-done.
Yeah, it looks great. Now this one I used a few more mushrooms on the top. Jim and I have similar tastes. We both like the mushrooms. We went ahead and used the whole container of mushrooms in this one, so we're going to have a little bit of extra. Remember, our vegetables, we always encourage you to add as much as you'd like. You can never get too many vegetables, so throw them all in there, and this is what you're going to have. So how does it look, Sam?
Good.
Are you hungry now?
No.
All right. Well, it sounds like we are ready to eat. All right, Jim, we sure appreciate you coming in. This looks like a great recipe, and I think I'm ready to eat, Sam. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for this week's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, and we'll see you next week.